Hi, decided to do the video from the beach today. It's been pretty windy lately, so a lot of surf and wind noise. Today, as you can see, is a lot calmer, so hopefully the audio is coming out okay. Today I wanted to go through the sessions I've done in my early quality phase. I talked about it in some of the previous videos that I refer to early quality. It's the time when you're transitioning between the base training of all easy runs into the quality section where you're doing a lot more speed sessions and strength work with hill repeats. So the early quality is just easing into that kind of session. In my current program, I've got the early quality phase going for 8 weeks. This is currently in the middle of week 7, but the last week's recovery week, so it's really the last week of actual early quality, and I've only got one more quality session to go. Probably do that on Friday. So look at the first week. I actually did a separate video just on these 2 sessions. The first one was at Ballum Park Athletics Track in Frankston. Can't get there anymore because of the 5k limit during the stage 4 lockdown. And the second session was actually did on the road. There's a suburban loop, quite quiet. I can run on the road, not many cars. And usually I would do these as 800 meter threshold efforts, but just the nature of the course meant 750 was easier to map out. What you'll notice is that every second day is a easy, slow recovery day. For someone in their early 50s like me, I can't back up 2 days in a row of running. So maybe in my 30s I could, but I have to protect the legs. I just need that extra recovery day before I do anything significant again. You'll also notice that Wednesday's run was just a aerobic run. It was longer obviously than my recovery runs, but no speed or effort in that one. And Sunday was a long run. So typically I don't really want to do more than 2 speed sessions in a week. Again, that's something I have to consider at my age. And if you're younger and less injury prone, maybe you could scrape in 3, but I don't generally see the need for more than 2. So in the second week, I repeated the track session, but just with a few more intervals. And that's the only speed session I did for the week, and I didn't do a long run either. That was more a motivation thing. That was the week that we heard we were going into stage 4 lockdown. I think my motivation dropped a bit. I still ran every day, but didn't have the motivation to put in the extra effort for a harder session. Week 3 was in stage 4 lockdown, so that meant a limit of 60 minutes per session, and you can't travel more than 5k away from your home. So again, just motivation wasn't there. You can even see my last run on the Sunday was supposed to be an aerobic run, so you'd expect somewhere up around 10k, and I did less than 7. But running every day, I think that's still going to maintain that fitness, maintain some of that momentum that I've built up. So at the moment I'm approaching 150 consecutive days of running, and I think that's actually more important than the speed sessions. So the speed sessions help, but it's the consistent running that is really the biggest thing in improvement. 4th week was recovery week, so you want this week to feel easy. You want to feel really fresh at the end of the week and be ready to do those hard sessions again. A rule of thumb I've seen some people say is about 2/3 of the training load in recovery week. Managed to get some motivation back for week 5, so did 2 threshold interval sessions, so 4 repeats on the Monday and 5 repeats on the Friday. The Monday was a repeat of the last threshold interval session I did, but with 2 weeks between those sessions I didn't want to increase. I wanted to repeat, make sure that my body was still okay at that level, and then increased it again later on the Friday. Some of you would have seen week 6 in my last video. That's where the athletics track got mowed over, so I had to come up with a new session. That was the 3x1k threshold efforts and the 3x400 meter efforts. I was pretty happy with how that went. Then on the Saturday I did another lot of threshold intervals, but this time I increased the distance of the interval from 750 meters to 1 kilometer, and at the same time pulled the repeats back from 5 to 4. That brings us up to this week. So on Monday I did 8 400 meter efforts. So I actually liked the 400 meter stretch I found on the local suburban roads and treated that more like an athletics track. Did my 400 efforts up and then jogged back and repeated. On Friday I intend to do another set of threshold intervals, 1k distance, this time increasing the intervals from 4 to 5. Again, just that gradual increase, and I think that should put me in a good position to then jump into the true quality sessions after a recovery week next week. As far as the stage 4 lockdown goes, other than the drop in motivation when it first came in, I'd say the biggest impact is not being able to do my long run. So limited to 60 minutes, that doesn't really count as a long run. I would have loved to have got in a couple of 2-hour long runs in there. I'd probably would have been scheduling a long run once a fortnight. I think that's sort of often the backbone of your training, your run training. Hopefully the stage 4 lockdown will be ending soon. That will allow me to do the long runs again, get to the athletics track and also the hills. We've got a great hill called Oliver's Hill where I do my hill repeats. Unfortunately that's just probably a little bit over 6 kilometers away from where I live, so out of my current range. So I hope that's been a help if you wanted to plan your own early quality program. I think it's worked pretty well for me. I definitely noticed an improvement in my pace, consistency. So early on the intervals were all over the place. Now I tend to be hitting the same times each interval, which is really good. I think I'm now running a lot better. My technique has picked up. I think that's one of the advantages of doing the speed sessions, the 400s and the 1k efforts. You can really concentrate on that technique. So I did get a few bad habits through the easy runnings in base training, but very happy with where my running is at the moment and really looking forward to the true quality phase coming up. However, I believe the biggest boost to my motivation has been planning the time trials into my program. So now I've got a definitive goal. I've set 4 events, even though they're going to be solo, me running on an athletics track. It really gives me a focus for the program. So when I design a training program, I usually work backwards from the your A race. So before, without any races on the horizon, the program wasn't sort of really going anywhere. You're just sort of floating in and out. Now it's sort of locked into a target, and I really enjoy the writing of the program that way, and it does give me motivation to go out and train. I've got a target, I've got a goal, and different people are different, but for me that sort of thing really helps. I hope you found this interesting. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. See ya.